In this demo, we'll be building a complete association website using the Promptless WP stack. This will include a searchable member directory, a full conference system, a resource library, a job board, and real forms. This will showcase the difference between most AI website builders and the Promptless WP stack. And most of these AI builders create pretty pages, but this build does the part agencies actually struggle with. This includes custom content types, a filterable professional directory, a conference system, internal linking across the whole site, and accessibility best practices. We'll also register the content types once, and everything downstream flows from here, including professionals, chapters, sessions and speakers, sponsors, resources, jobs, and news. We'll also have real filtering. So we'll have working filters across the member directory, the summit program, and the resource library. And this will also showcase just the speed with quality. So production ready, accessible, and on brand, and zero rebuild. So now we'll simply go over to the demo site, and this is a fresh WordPress install on this multi-site instance. And you'll notice that we have the Promptless WP plugin, post runtime, and form entries. And we can go here to the plugins list, and you can see this list of plugins. We have the premium Promptless plugin installed, along with these Promptless forms and Promptless custom post type pages. And if I go to themes, we have the Promptless theme installed as well. So now all I do is simply connect the Claude connector. And so I simply go here and generate the connection for Promptless WP. I'll go to my terminal. Simply paste that command. Now that should be connected, and we'll do the same for Promptless forms and custom post types. So we'll allow Claude Cowork to call this site and generate the connection. Copy and paste this command. And for the forms, go to connector, toggle these on, and generate connection. And simply copy and paste. Okay, so now that those are connected, we'll go to Claude and we'll simply quit Claude. And then we'll reopen Claude. And so now this should be connected to our site. The first thing I want to do is simply do a pre-flight check. And so I'll write a prompt that says, you should be connected to my website using the Promptless connector, so please perform a pre-flight check. And so we'll let that do its thing and confirm the connection. And this has been confirmed that it is connected. We see the correct site URL. And now what I'm going to do is, well, currently I have my folder mounted with all of the content briefs and just the specs for this demo website. So I've done pretty much all of the heavy lifting prior to this demo. This would be similar to an agency style workflow where you do the research and discovery phase and go through that whole process prior to creating your content briefs and then creating the content for each individual page, mapping out the site structure. And so all of this has been done. And so this folder with all of this content is now mounted to this Claude session. And so I'm going to simply tell Claude that this folder is mounted and I want it to assess the contents of this folder and then proceed with planning this implementation of structuring the site, mapping the content correctly, and we'll incrementally phase this process out. This won't be, of course, done within one single session. So I'll simply say, you should have the folder mounted for the association website. Please assess the contents of this folder to understand this project in its entirety, and then proceed with creating a plan to implement this to the association website. And so initially I didn't have the folder mounted, so of course I mounted the folder, and now Claude has assessed the contents within that folder and has confirmed that it understands this project, has proposed implementation plan, and now we have these three questions. How do you want me to run this build? And so, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we want to do phase by phase checkpoints. We don't want to run this entire process in one single session. So let's select this one. How much seed content should I generate? We'll go full realism volume. And should I generate AI brand imagery? We'll go with generate freely as needed. So now phase one is complete. Brand foundation is live. Checkpoint for phase two. What's now set? We have the business identity, which is CAEP as an organization. You have the brand palette. So it created and applied the active palette. And 3 reusable elements registered. So things like office number and main address. And we can actually see this if we go to reusable elements here. Here's our copyright, phone number, and mailing address. And of course, these elements are used because phone numbers and emails, those things can change along with business addresses. And so, of course, if you have this reused dozens of times across a website, you want to create some sort of dynamic system. So if you ever need to update this in the future, you don't have to hunt this down across multiple pages, and we just have one source of truth where we can update this when necessary. And so this has been generated. If we go to the front end, of course we don't have any pages yet, but we can see that the colors have been applied. You see the subtle green background for the footer, the green link here. And of course, we'll update this with a logo instead of having just the name displayed. And I'll do this manually. I'll go into the customizer. I've already uploaded the logo. So we'll go to site identity and select the logo here. Skip cropping. And we'll also add this for the fav icon. And just publish that. And as you can see, that's already been added to the header. Simply close out of this. And we'll go back to Claude and continue. It says ready to move to phase 2. Data model. Register the 7 custom post types. And so we'll just simply type proceed. So now it says all 7 custom post types are registered. We'll let that continue working, but we'll actually go to the dashboard and see these custom post types that were created. And so we see these for professionals, chapters, sessions, speakers, and sponsors. And it looks like we have resources and jobs. And so we'll just simply let that finish up. So now phase 2 is complete. The structured content engine is built. Checkpoint before phase 3. Let's see, it says verified live on the site. We have the 7 custom post types registered. And we have 27 post fields with filter sort flags wired exactly to the data model. And so these custom fields have been added to these post types, and now the logic is built in to actually filter these. And so now we have the 7 groupings, including the 2 relationship patterns that make this more than a brochure bi-directional. It says next is phase 3, the seed content full volume, and this is where the content contract kicks in. And so we'll simply just proceed with this next phase. So currently Claude is now creating the content for the single post for the post types. And this is done prior to the pages because of course we're gonna have internal linking. And so of course this copy needs to be created initially. So you're just kind of seeing the process of how Claude is thinking through this development process to structure this in a way so that it can easily have, or is going about this the most optimal way in order to ensure that it has the proper post types or pages in place to actually link those correctly. And so of course this is part of the development process that takes a lot of time of course, having to strategically think through how this entire workflow process to think through how these pages need to be structured and linked correctly. And so Claude takes care of all of this heavy lifting for you. So Claude is saying speakers 1 through 10 have been created. We won't click on these because I know Claude is still building these pages out. But if we go to our site and go to speakers, you can see the list of speakers that are added. And so Claude will just continue to go through this process of creating these individual posts, mapping this content correctly, and creating that linking correlation between these posts and pages and these different individual repeatable cards, building out this entire website structure. Okay, that took a minute for Claude to complete, but phase 3 has been completed. The site is now full of structure, filterable data, checkpoint before phase 4. So it says what got created was 138 records, all published. So 30 professionals spread across all 8 specialties, 4 regions, both credential statuses, 3 member types, each with specialty chips and a contact card. For the 6 chapters, you have distinct member counts, dues, events, officer cards linked to professional records, and member roster linked to professionals. You have 20 sessions and 20 speakers, the full summit agenda, 4 track over 2 days with bi-directional session and speaker links, and 28 resources, 12 tiered sponsors, 10 jobs, 12 dated news posts. And so now that we have all these custom post types added, now we're ready for phase 4, which is pages and sections scaffolding. So then Claude will see with scaffolding the 24 page tree, then building the marketing pages and the filterable archive pages. So we just simply type proceed. Okay, now that we're at a clean stopping point, what's been created? Yeah, phase 1 through 5 are complete. And it says what's live. We have brand identity applied. We have the 8 custom post types, 138 records with working relationships. We have 20 pages published, including the 5 filtered PostGrid archives that are the showcase. So the filtering is working correctly, and full navigation, primary mega menu, and 3 column footer with top bar menu. And let's see what remains. We have phase 6, so the forms. So Claude needs to still create the forms and add those. And phase 7, QA and metrics. And so let's jump over to the front end. Before we look at the front end, let's look at pages. You see all our pages have been created, the proper structure, and we'll go to appearance and menus. See that our menus were created. A primary navigation with mega menu support. And we'll just jump over to the front end. And here's our home page with our, of course, AI generated images as placeholders for now. few small things to polish. Of course, we're missing a header, or heading, I should say, here in the stats section. But so far, the copy, everything looks like it's structured well. You have our posts being pulled in. You can actually click and access these posts. Let's go to, here's our mega menu with icons. Go to our membership page. Have our pricing, cards, FAQs. Find CEP. Okay, here's our working filter. Let's just test this out. And this is working correctly. So that's great. So this Summit 2026. Internal linking to our speakers. You see all our speakers are linked correctly to their profiles. And so all this content has been mapped and linked accordingly with working search filters. You just look at a few more pages, careers. Another filter, and of course we can adjust these as well. So once Claude actually generates these pages, we still have the ability to modify these as needed. I may give this a little more breathing room, maybe a 3-column grid system, so I can go in and edit this simply by clicking on the section and going to layout and changing this to 3. We'll update this and preview it on the front end and close this out. And now we have this 3-column grid system. So easy to manage, easy to update this layout or this grid structure. And this looks great. To the news, just some inconsistencies here as far as wrapping these filters, but we can actually tell Claude to wrap that similar to the other features, or if we want to keep this as a minimal layout design without the contained section for our filter elements, then we can do that as well. But this is working correctly. You can click and link and go to the actual single post for these custom post types. And I also have flexibility. I can tell Claude I can put any metadata within the right sidebar. Of course, there isn't too much metadata for this particular post type, but I can have Claude restructure this layout as needed. So this is good. We'll just go back to Claude and have it continue with finalizing the rest, which appears to be the forms and just QA metrics. Verify each archive, filters render, confirm sponsor tier sort, accessibility, spot checks, and capture the build metrics. We've pretty much confirmed most of this by testing out the search filter. So we'll just say proceed. And that concludes the development of the site. I had Claude just write up a synopsis of everything that was executed, and it says what was built: a complete production grade professional association website, brand foundation, WCAG color palette, structured content engine, 8 custom post types, 28 post fields, 7 groupings with filter sort logic, 138 structured records, 30 directory professionals, 6 chapters, 20 summit sessions, 20 speakers, 12 tiered sponsors, 28 resources, 10 jobs, 12 news posts, including real relationships, bi-directional session, speaker chapter, officers, members, resource, related, taxonomy. You have 20 published pages, including 5 dynamic filterable archives. Full navigation, primary mega menu, 3-column footer, top bar, utility menu. We have 5 working forms embedded on the pages with email notifications and a QA pass of live verification of filters, forms, relationships, and accessibility basics. And so what I'll do, I'll provide a link to this site so you can actually review this and see the full build. If you enjoy these type of videos, please comment, like, and subscribe.